to jump into some interesting information about Zepbound insurance coverage. We're going to talk about some advocacy that we can do to support PBM reform and some tools that I've created over the last 48 hours in order for you to be able to do so. But before we get started, hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. That's going to help get the stream going here to get some joiners in here. We're live on TikTok and YouTube. And we're talking about PBM reform. And so one of the big topics that has been hot and heavy in the world of GLP-1s lately are some of the changes that are coming around. Hey, Carrie Lee, how are you today? Some of the changes that are coming to PBMs. And they're sending out letters basically that are sort of warning everybody that there are some big changes coming to the PBM prior authorization process and then ultimately to coverage for GLP-1s. Now, I did warn viewers of OnThePen and followers of this channel going back about 6 months ago. You saw some moves from Aetna, you saw some moves from CVS Caremark and Blue Cross Blue Shield to adopt some programs, right? These health and wellness programs that were going to be part of getting access to GLP-1 medications. Hey, Shelly, welcome over on YouTube. Make sure you hit that like, hit that bell, hit that sub. Naturalist Sabrina, hey, how are you? Good to see you all today. So we started to see these health and wellness programs pop up that were going to be, they were billed as going to be like an adjunct to GLP-1 treatment. And really what I warned about back then was that these were no adjunct to help you on your journey. They were tools that they were putting in place at the time to find different ways to deny people their medicine. And that's exactly what we're seeing right now. So this past week, what we saw from Blue Cross Blue Shield of Michigan is we saw a letter come out to their people who use their services. Customers, I think, is the really complex word I was looking for there. But this letter went out to their customers basically saying, for the next couple of months, the last few months of the year, we're going to have different requirements for those who are on GLP-1s, right? So starting August 1st for the members of these large groups for Michigan Blue Cross, the prior authorizations are going to go away, or they're going to reset on August 1st, and then they're going to require you to participate in a health and wellness program, calorie tracking, and document it for 6 months before they'll cover it. But the kicker is, they've also said that on the 1st of January, they will no longer cover GLP-1s for weight loss on this plan. And so what you're seeing right now is these insurance companies are paying, if you're being objective about it, they have a huge tab to cover right now for people who are jumping on GLP-1 train. I think that it was unforeseen somehow by both the pharmaceutical companies and the insurance companies how much these would cost and how much people would, maybe not how much it would cost, but how many people would be seeking treatment through these medications. And so what you see is basically maneuvering to get out of paying, and that's what happens with every chronic disease. Medicines come out, they're groundbreaking, they've got tons of years of research and clinical trials that these pharmaceutical companies have to recoup the cost for, not to mention the trials that they do for drugs that never make it to market, right? So it's an incredible amount of money that has to be covered by the insurance companies, so they price the cost of these medications pretty high while they have the patents on them. And then you got the PBMs who want to take their cut too, and they want to take a piece of the pie, so they're taking up to 30 to 40% of the cost of a medication sometimes. So by the time it trickles down to us, they're extremely expensive, but they're basically just finding ways to weasel out of paying for these medications, and basically going back to the old tried and true argument of eat less and move more, which most of us have been trying for years and years and years. And so we saw that letter from Blue Cross Blue Shield drop this week. That's terrible news for those on that plan. I think you're starting to see it pop up in Texas and Illinois. Some people have told me they've received similar letters from Blue Cross. Now, we saw another letter come out this past week from Express Scripts, and they're sending out similar letters to constituents in their area. Now, this isn't universally all Express Scripts, all Blue Cross, but you're seeing it pop up in different pockets because each state has different plans that they run. Yes, baby. So Sorry, I'm dadding it up with 3 of our 4 kids here at the camper. So as Desiree points out, for-profit healthcare doesn't work. It's a broken process. Yeah. So profit above patients. Allie with a $5 super chat over on YouTube. Thank you so much for that. I appreciate that. She says, thanks for all you do to keep us informed and to rally the troops for these important efforts. So yeah, Express Scripts, Blue Cross Blue Shield, but we're seeing very similar things happen with CVS Caremark. So it's coming. It's sort of a pilot program in these different pockets to see how people respond, to see how these programs roll out, and they'll tweak them as they go along. But definitely changes are coming to all PBM. So if you're on Zepbound or you're on Wegovy or Saxenda, the weight loss versions of GLP-1s, you have to be aware that changes are coming. So the inevitable question that comes after that is, what can we be doing to advocate? What can we do to change this? What can we do in our little corner of the world? Well, I put something together for you that is a step that you can take on this Saturday morning. Like you have 5 minutes of extra time because you're on this live. I want to encourage you to do something. So at OnThePen.com, if you're on TikTok, the link is in the description of my bio. If you're on YouTube, you've probably been around with me for a while, so just go to OnThePen.com and go to the first blog article that you see. But I want to tell you what's here. Dominique says it's discrimination. 100% it is. Yeah, there's no other chronic condition that requires you to jump through these kind of hoops to get your medication. It is complete discrimination. It's a lack of understanding and a lack of education on some parts, but certainly these insurance companies are well versed in the fact that obesity is a disease. It leads to a host of comorbidities, including 22 different types of cancer, but they are discriminating because they can, for whatever reason. So I want to encourage you all to go do something right now. This is your step of advocacy, something that you can actually do today, right? If you're willing to be part of this fight, put action in the comments of this video. We're gonna take a step of action today. So my step of action in the last 24 hours was to put together 2 different articles outlining what's happening with the PBMs, what will continue to happen to the PBMs, and how that's going to affect patients. Action, action, action. Yes, thank you for dropping that in the comments. We're ready to do something about this. So one of the things that I did last night after I was on live with you all on TikTok is I put together a form letter, right? A form letter, and then I posted that to OnThePen.com. When I posted that to OnThePen.com, I also posted links to look up your federal representatives, your congressmen and your senators. And so you can take the form letter, take 2 minutes to personalize it and put your own name on there, and your senator's name or your congressman's name, and then use the links that I provided to find your senators. And you should get information to their email addresses, and just email them the form letter filled out with your information in it. That is going, if we can bombard our senators and our representatives, we can at a minimum let them know that we as their constituents are serious about taking action and holding them accountable for seeing to it that there is some action done on PBM reform. And we're going to together, but there's a huge number of us. Just think about this, folks. There's 30,000 of you over on TikTok. We're almost at 10,000 on YouTube. If you're not hit subscribe, please hit subscribe to the channel. And also there's 68 people in here. There's 3 likes. If you could hit that thumbs up while you're here too, that would be great. So, is it a losing battle with some of these congressmen and senators? Absolutely. I mean, we're going against a machine that is, got huge dollars in people who are petitioning lawmakers constantly to bend the rules to fit the PBMs and the health insurance companies. But we have numbers too, and we can vote with our dollars, and we can do that as well. So yeah, this is something that we can do today. I hope that you'll do that. Come back and let me know in the comments if you do elect to go and take that little step of advocacy today. Now, something on YouTube that I wanted to just kind of make you all aware of, when we go live on a mobile device, this live goes out to the shorts feed, and so we get a broader audience here, right? And so there's a lot of people who come in and have no idea what we're talking about. There's a lot of ignorance that goes on about the treatment of obesity. Just to educate Jeremy over here, who's saying eat less, move more. Yeah, that's what everybody said for the last 40 years, and you've noticed obesity hasn't gotten any better. People haven't gotten lazier. What has happened is we've identified that the food environment here, coupled with genetic predispositions to metabolic disease, has created this perfect storm in this country for obesity problems, and you're seeing this around the world. So one of the things that I would just encourage you to take a look at is the fact that obesity leads to hormonal dysregulation in your body. And what these medications do is they're peptides that mimic hormones that are dysregulated in your body. And so it creates a level playing field for people with obesity to actually have an environment within their body that's conducive to weight loss. There's many people who struggle and white knuckle it and cannot lose the weight. I am one of those people. I've struggled for the last 10 years to really lose any weight, doing anything significant. And it was only till I added MOUNJARO into the equation, me being a type 2 diabetic, where it brought down my insulin levels. It brought back the activation of the GLP-1 receptors in my body to help me feel more full, to stimulate the beta cells in my pancreas to make insulin more efficiently, and to act on the pleasure reward center of the brain that is very quieted down in people who are obese. And so that is what these medications do, and they're really helping to treat obesity in new and novel ways. And it's like funny how once we started to treat this as a disease and really look at it scientifically, what we learned and how we're able to treat this now effectively with medicines. There are new generations of these medications that are coming down the pipe like CagriSema, which will be the next one to hit the market, caglarinotide, which is an amylin agonist coupled with the GLP-1 agonist and semaglutide. That'll hit the market in sometime in 2026. In 2027, we'll get retatrutide, which is GLP-1, GIP, and glucagon. And not only are these, fixing metabolic illnesses, but they're reversing fatty liver disease. They're reversing fibrosis in the liver. And so when you talk about metabolic health, it all starts in the liver. And so many people are walking around with fatty liver disease and slowly working their way towards fibrosis and ultimately cirrhosis. It used to be you got cirrhosis only because you were an alcoholic. These days, there are many people with cirrhosis of the liver, and it's caused by fatty liver disease. And what they're finding is these new generations of these medications bring down inflammation so much in the body. They are melting the fat off of the liver and then helping to create an environment where you have more optimal liver health, which also plays into your body's ability to lose weight. And so when people come in and they say eat less, move more, it's a very simp and uneducated thing to say. And so we aim to do some education on this channel. So I hope that you all have enjoyed this live. I hope that you've enjoyed what we're talking about today. The topic is the changes that are coming to PBMs and what we can do to sort of fight back against that. And I really hope that for those of you who have heard what I've had to say today, that you'll jump over to onthepen.com and that you'll fill out that form letter and send it to your senators, and come back to the video on YouTube and just let me know I did it. Just drop I did it in the chat with an arm emoji, just saying I did it, and you will know that you took a step of action today, right? Because there's so many things that so much bad news in the world of insurance coverage for these medications, and I feel like almost a broken record, like I'm coming on and I'm always sharing bad news. And so I know sometimes that can help us feel like there's nothing we can do. This is something. This is an action step. And if you want to take it a step further, take that article and post it to your personal Facebook pages, your Instagram pages, your LinkedIn pages. Because why? Well, the PBM reform issue transcends the GLP-1 community. I want you to understand that before I was ever diagnosed diabetic, my wife has been rheumatoid arthritis since she's had rheumatoid arthritis diagnosed at 10 years old. And so she's required very expensive medications to keep her to keep her disease in remission, both as a young adult and now as an adult. And we have had to fight PBMs our entire adult lives to maintain coverage to the medication that keeps her disease from spreading. And to keep her mobile as a mother of 4 children, it's very important that she maintain that access. We've been fighting PBMs for years. This issue transcends the GLP-1 community. If you've had any other chronic disease or chronic conditions, you know full well that this issue transcends that. So be an advocate for PBM reform on your public channels. This doesn't have to be about GLP-1s, but share the OnThePen article. Share the advocacy things that we can do, like emailing our senators and congressmen and actually making a difference. I hope that you'll take advantage of the work that I put into that at onthepen.com. The link is in the bio of my TikTok channel if you're watching on TikTok. And on YouTube, I'll make sure that I drop it in the description of this video once it posts, but you can find it very easily by going to onthepen.com. Thank you all for being here. Thank you for hanging out with me for a little bit of time today. I really appreciate it. Make sure that if you're on YouTube, you hit that like before we go, and drop a comment in the video and let people know that we are advocating for PBM reform. Use the hashtag PBM reform when you're making videos and content about everything that you're dealing with your PBMs, and we hope that we'll catch you again sometime soon. Thanks for being here.